all going to go live, Sal.
Cool.
Just waiting for this to go. So I'm not too sure what it's doing. There we go.
You're live on Facebook now.
Yeah, hopefully we are. We'll just wait and see if people come on board. Alrighty. So it's saying we're live. So welcome everyone to the Mumpreneur Movement Group. I am Tammie Pike and I'm live with you today with the amazing Salli Galvin. Thank you so much for being here today, Sal.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me, Tam.
So Sal is an Australian representative, mother of 4 champion boys, and ambassador for Mind Fitness. A woman of action is Salli. She is passionate about creating grounded, resilient, well-adjusted children to help them reach their full potential. She believes it is easier to grow and shape a strong child with a fit mind than fix a broken man. Salli has always been curious of the human mind and how it operates from a scientific perspective. The reason she is so intrigued about this comes from her own personal story. We'll delve more into that, but also too, Sal herself is an entrepreneur. She owns multiple businesses, as well as being a mum and doing many, many things. So Sal, thank you for being here, like I just said, but welcome to the Mumpreneur Movement Group. I know you've been in here for a little while, and I know being a passionate advocate for mums and for parents in general, I'd love for you to share a little bit about you and all that you do.
Oh, hi. Thanks, Tammie. Thanks so much for inviting me into this amazing group, like this Mumpreneurs Movement Australia. Like it is, well, I love business. I love what business creates, what we can do for people. And I love connecting with like-minded people like yourself and all the other women in business that I've met through the Mumpreneurs Movement magazine and the Mumpreneurs Movement group. But what I, in these really tricky times right now, like things are a bit crazy at the moment, aren't they? Like on a global scale, everybody is seriously unsure about the future. Like nobody really knows what's going to be happening, and it's never happened on this global scale, definitely not in my lifetime or in our lifetimes. And what I really wanted to delve into here today was resilience, because it is my favourite topic. And I reckon that now, when the sticks are down and like things will, I am the true optimist, but honestly, over the next, few weeks, few months, things are probably going to get worse before they get better. But that's not a bad thing. It is all a point of position and the way we look at things. And I really want to delve in quickly to a bit of my story and overcoming, adversity in your life and, and the good things that come out of that, and building resilience, because, now's the time to be resilient, isn't it, Tam?
Oh,
it now really is the time to be resilient. So I don't want to bore you guys with my story too much. Well, not bore you, but I don't want to take up my time with my story. It's in our book, Empowered Women Empowering the World, which is going to be launched very soon. And I really, in a nutshell, my life as a country girl growing up in the wheatbelt just out of Perth in Western Australia was shattered when I was 8 years of age. My dad took his life when interest rates, in fact, I was listening to a podcast, like the stock market right now has crashed. The worst plunge than even happened in 1987. It was at that time when interest rates flew up really high. And, that's when my dad took his life. And he just put that connection together now when outside stresses and influences came in, and he couldn't handle it anymore. So anyway, back at 8 years of age, I had 3 little sisters, my mum, and we were on our own. And my mum really taught resilience from the beginning. She taught us really, really early on, it's not what happens to us. What doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. It's not what happens to us, it's how you shift, pivot, improvise, adapt and overcome that makes the difference, and that is really, in essence, what resilience is. So at 8 years of age, that happened. And then again at 21, it happened. The man of my dreams at the time took his life as well. So suicide's been, you know, I've been impacted quite closely with suicide in my life. And I could have laid down and cried quite a few times, but I always got back up again. And I think there lies the key, because that is what resilience is about. And this isn't about me. I'm wanting to get on and speak to any of you women in the Mumpreneurs movement, because this is about anybody that chooses to take resilience as, you know, to really dig deep and work out exactly who they are and how they can overcome this serious fear that everybody's feeling and being gripped by now, and this adversity. And it's more than just adversity. It is life-threatening, it is business-threatening, it is family-threatening on a global scale. So that's my story in a nutshell. There's lots more to it, but what I'm really passionate about is helping people to rise above it. And I've put together a resilience toolkit a good few months ago, and it's free. And I've actually just printed it out here because I hope you don't mind, Tam. I wanted to just run through some of the key points in it here for anybody that is interested. And I think most people are now.
Before we do that, I'd love for you to share, Sal, like, we just talked about resilience and having it, but what does resilience mean? What does it mean?
Absolutely. So here you go. This is it. So there's two ways to think about resilience, right? So this is the resilience toolkit. It's just a PDF that you print out, like it's free. So this resilience toolkit, I just printed it out because I thought, like, I can write these notes or I can just cover up what I've already done. So there's two ways to think about resilience. You can think about resilience, and this is the way I used to. I used to think about it as that I was so strong and so tough that nothing bad can ever happen to me. You know, like I was just so strong and so tough that I was so steadfast and resilient. And this is the way I used to believe resilience was. I've now changed my tune over the last, few years. And I really, truly believe resilience, to be flexible so that you can take the hits, rebound and bounce back, to pivot and be flexible, to improvise, adapt and overcome, because we are going to take the hit as humanity here now, like over the next coming events. But it's being able to pivot, being able to be flexible and being able to rebound and bounce back. That is true resilience. So I don't know, did that answer that question?
Yeah, it did. Thank you. Because I just want, for those who join, to sort of get a better feel for what resilience is and what we're going to be talking about, because, some people don't have a clue what it is. And just so if we can just delve a little bit into that, that was perfect. So thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, no problem at all. And so, many of us think we must be the former, which was strong and impenetrable and affected by nothing and no one and able to handle everything. But this is actually, and I know by experience, an impossible way to live. We can't live up to the expectation. Things get tough. Okay. Like we can be so hard on ourselves at sometimes start telling ourselves that we should be able to cope with this. We should be able to handle this. We're more resilient, but down the spiral we go when we start being tough on ourselves. So this is the real world. Unexpected things happen, and this COVID-19 virus is the perfect example. And we get tired, we get stressed, we get frustrated, we get sad, and we get full of fear right now. That's what a lot of people are, and that is okay. It's okay. The second way of feeling or thinking or knowing about resilience comes into play now, because resilience is having the skill set, both on the inside and on the out, to successfully manage your life, to adapt to change and stressful events in a healthy and constructive way. And most of the time we do a good job of resilience, but when shit hits the fan like it is right now, that is when we need to draw on our own inner strength and our own inner resilience so that we can rise above, so that we can still be the best mother we can be. We can still be the best wife or the best husband or the best partner or the best lover that we can be. And we can still be the best family member, the best community member, the best business person that we can be in these challenging times. So the resilience toolkit and like being fully aware of who you are, and the way that I actually do work on my own resilience, 3 main things, right? And I'm just actually taking it. 3 main things. So you've got your daily practices. Your daily practices could be whatever it is that keeps you mindful. Okay, so it can be exercise, it can be listening to music, it can be meditating, it can be praying, it can be yoga, it can be daily practices of gratitude, it can be whatever it is for you. It can be riding your horse, it can be gardening, it can be whatever it is for you that you do daily that keep you grounded and centered and back to zero. Like, that is key for me. Another one, like my next part that I like to work on to build resilience is your healthy habits. So like your sleep, are you getting enough sleep? Your diet, everybody knows what it is to eat good food, and, you know, making choices of your diet and your exercise. So your body is an outward depiction of your inward thoughts. So if we are looking after ourselves on a daily basis, then we are going to be more resilient. We're going to be able to handle more in our lives. And, you know, like if you've let areas of this slip, then now's the time. Now is the time to fix that and do those things that you need to do on a daily, weekly basis to reset yourself so that you are more resilient, because it's the resilient people that are going to get through this.
And I totally agree with what you said. I just want to bring one thing up with this, is that what their practice is once you become and make it like every day for you. I know you do this every single day of your life, and it becomes a non-negotiable and it becomes your new habit. So for those who are watching, I'd love for you to share too, like, what is your non-negotiables each day, or what is your practices that, like Sal said, helps you come back to zero, because by you sharing will help our audience and, you know, our fellow mumpreneurs to navigate through this. But know that with Salli too, like, she does this every single day, because you have to be in that space within this fear, within this, you know, overcoming old mindsets and beliefs and systems and things like that. So with what Sally's saying, also experiment what you're doing. But I just want to quickly say that, Sal, that you do this every single day as a non-negotiable, don't you?
Yeah, I do, yeah. I get up early every morning and I meditate for 20 minutes every single morning without fail. And on a Saturday and a Sunday, I don't do it as early as I do on a Monday to Friday. But Monday to Friday, I get up really early, 4:30, and I meditate for 20 minutes. And then I practice yoga for 20 minutes. So I've been to some yoga classes. I don't like the television on or anything. I just go through a bit of an exercise, a yoga exercise to stretch and breathe. And I get myself set for the day. I then actually work in my business or on my business then for a couple of hours. My business is for a couple of hours, because being an owner of multiple businesses, there needs to be a time where I can actually step out of the businesses and have a look and see where they're going. And that's what I do till 7 a.m. in the morning. And then it's kid time, because it is so important for me, mother of 4 boys, is to use my time wisely and to prioritize. And so from 7 till 8:30, I don't touch my phone, I don't touch my computer, I don't touch any devices, and I am fully present with my children while we get ready for school in the morning. We do our reading, I make my lunches, you know, just those normal mum stuff that I really love doing, you know, and that are really important. So on a normal a day, that is what I would do. And then after kids are at school, I'd then go and work out for an hour, because or 45 minutes actually, because I really like it. I like a nice, strong, fit body. I like to be flexible. And then I go about my daily business. whatever it is that I'm doing for the day. Then in the evening, from when the children get home at 4:30 until bedtime at 7:30, I don't touch my devices again. I work really hard. Unless there is a crisis on, I try very, very hard to be present with the kids for that amount of time too. So we're either doing sport, or we're on the farm, or we're doing horses or motorbikes or gardening or homework or whatever it is that all of us do. And then in the evening, last minute before I go to sleep at night time, I meditate again for 20 minutes. And any of the pressures that I'm worrying about, I put out there, you know, I take it off my plate. And sometimes I wake up with a solution in the morning, which is kind of cool. Sometimes I don't, but most of the time I do. So I meditate because I believe a good night's sleep, and that meditation hacks. It's a sleep hack. You don't need as much sleep. If you can meditate before sleep, put yourself in the right mindset and get good quality sleep. So that's me in a nutshell, right? That is what I do. And they are non-negotiables Monday to Friday. Saturdays and Sundays, things are a little flexible, but I always meditate. But yeah, I don't know. Did that answer that, Tam?
It did. And I just want people to show, because when you give an example, especially what you live and breathe, it can really help inspire and motivate them to see what it is they're doing in their life. Because again, when they see someone else doing it, they know that they can too. And because I know for you, this wasn't always an everyday thing. It was something that you had to learn and grow into. You're a very disciplined woman. You come from a background of sporting and, you know, training a lot, but you had to also then come into this space of training your mind and body together in a more harmonized, spiritual and connected way. Is that what you feel?
Yeah, absolutely, Tammie. That's exactly right. Absolutely right. Because I've learned that, you know, in high competition when I was back playing for Australia, to win or lose a game is nothing to do with the physical, it's all to do with the mental. And we always knew that on the sporting field. But it's the same in life, in business, in family, in life in general. So if you can do those things that keep you at zero or that can reset you, then you can make clear, informed decisions about the way you live your life. You're not making decisions off the back of emotions all the time, and it really makes a difference to the trajectory of your life.
And can I ask, how has that changed your leadership skills within your family, your business and your community? Because I know from what you, like how you were once to now is complete different change, but what's that impact for you, like, and what you're creating and how you're showing, like even today, showing up in the way to help others through this time of, you know, need and chaos? How has that changed you in the way that you show up in these roles?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's made me realize that, like, as a leader, you need to lead by example, but there's no use leading and then keeping quiet about it, is there? So if you are doing a good job in if you are doing a good job in your businesses, in your family, in your life, in your community, then I can't see why we shouldn't share it. You know, like there are so many people out there hurting like I was not that long ago. And I've really found some gold nuggets that were given to me years and years ago, but I think that I've all just over the last 12, 18, 2 years, I've put them all in a context that has made such a difference to the way I live my life, the way I've not made any hugely drastic changes to the way that I've parented. All it's done is improve my parenting. I've not made any great, huge, drastic changes to the things I eat or the way I exercise, but all this has done is made me more mindful of the importance of it every day. Or the way that my relationships, like my close relationships, I've just become more mindful and more aware of the importance of those things. And well, gratitude is it's just key, isn't it, Tam? So see, gratitude, mindfulness and being kind are those three aspects that if we, you know, work on a daily basis, then we are more resilient.
And I guess too, you help others be more resilient by being the guide and the teacher and the leader. And even for your, like, you're showing up a lot more by sharing your message on your personal brand, on your business pages, but also going out and speaking and sharing the story in an upcoming book. Like, you are like, by being resilient, you're brave enough and courageous enough in sharing your story of trauma and overcoming adversity to then be able to share that with others so they know they're not alone, but also to give them that guidance that you needed at your time to help them through it. So not only have you been able to impact your family's life or you know, your clients, it's like such a ripple effect you're creating, because you're interviewing people, you're speaking, you're being flown over Australia to, you know, speak at events, because your message about mind fitness and resilience is because you walk your talk every day and you teach it every day. And I know you teach it to your employees. You know, they're coming ahead in leaps and bounds because you're role modeling this, but you're also teaching it every single day. And that impact you're creating is massive because you're choosing to show up. And I think this is what resilience is choosing every day to be your best possible self, like still being a human being in that. But when you show up 110%. You show up and you give everything every single day of your life. And you can see it within how you're transformed, how your business, but your community comes together with you. Like, you have an open day, and how many hundreds of people come when you have an open day at your Jared Allen Equestrian Center? Like, that blows my mind. But it's because you are showing up every day, regardless of what else is going on in the world or in your life. You are being committed and disciplined to being what you know you need to be in the world. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thanks, Tam. That's very kind of you. That's really kind of you.
But do you feel for yourself like that's, you know, you having that resilience, you've been able to give that bigger effect and create that bigger ripple?
Absolutely. And, you know, like, honestly, I know I've said it before and I'll say it again, this COVID-19, resilience is key here. It really is. Resilience is key. We need to be leaders, you know, as mums in business. We need to be leaders of business, you know, our staff, our clients. We need to be leaders in our family, of our children and of our partners and of our extended family. We really need to step up, work out what it is that makes us resilient. So what grounds you, what centers you, and what keeps you in stability. Yeah, you and I have spoken about this a lot. What keeps you in stability so that you can make clear decisions and clear choices, you know. And one of the things that within this resilience toolkit there, that is one of the last things, one of the most important things is community. So making meaningful, you know, like to help you build your resilience or help your children build their resilience or help your staff or help your clients. So like in community, which is getting threatened right now with this COVID virus, okay? We're all told to be isolated, feeling truly blessed that we live in Australia, like truly blessed that we live in Australia, but community, making connections, deep and meaningful connections within our families, whatever it takes to do that. And then within our wider community, and I really think the key here is to connect in with empowering communities like this Mumpreneurs Movement magazine. And then there are online, like, and making deeper connections within community. And I think the online platform is where we need to be at, because I can speak to you here all the way across the other side of Australia, like you're here in my own room. And there I feel lies the power. The connectedness, we need to stay connected.
And I totally agree with that, because when we're isolated, we feel alone. We feel like we go deeper into fear, and we start forgetting about the collective. We start going into me, and we forget about the bigger picture. And that's when violence happens. That's when, you know, overbuying of different things because we're fear and we're scaring, we're going to scarcity and lack. Whereas if we come back into that space of love or connection, whatever you want to call it, we stop reacting, we start responding, and we can start together creating a plan that can help us all together to not only survive but to thrive through this space. Because I think that's the thing, is everyone's going reverting back into survival mode, which we haven't been in a very, very long time. And unfortunately, that means that, you know, the world is super reactive because we don't have, like, most of the world's still not in that consciousness high space. And I'm not talking about being woo-woo or crazy, but thinking beyond just our needs, but the collective's needs. And if we don't go into overbuying or overdoing, you know what I mean? Like, it gives us space to be able to give to others and not get everyone into this fear space. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah, it does.
it's really about, I guess, stepping back a bit, having a look at the reality, looking at the facts of things, because when we get into fear, we see what I believe this whole thing is showing us is the reality of life is that we are in control of nothing other than ourselves. And human beings, we think we can try and control. And I was thinking this as I was going and feeding my horses this morning before our call. And I was walking, I was thinking, you know, we think we have control when we go to work, we make money, our kids go to school, we, you know, make breakfast, dinner, everything we think we're controlling. We think we can control our kids, our husband, you know, our environment, all that kind of stuff. But in reality, we only have control of who we are as a person, what we think, what we eat, what we do, and all the rest is always going to be unfolding for us out of our control. Even our kids, we can't control them, what they think, what they do, all that kind of stuff. So I think if we come back to that reality, is that your number one thing in this whole process is to take care of your mind, body, soul, so you don't get in that space of fear and lack and attacking and becoming part of one of those other people who are projecting this to be the end of the world kind of thing. You know what I mean? We can't be in that space. We have to be the leaders, the ones who are responding, who are doing the right thing and are supporting others who can't step out of that mind space, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, it does. Absolutely. And, you know, like in these challenging times, it amplifies who you are. It doesn't create or, you know, decreate who you are. So if you're a good human like you are, and like most of the people within the UR and all, you know, like within this Mumpreneurs movement group, these tough times, it will amplify this superhuman that you are. That's what it will do, because it doesn't make great humans, these tough times, it just amplifies it. And you being such a magnificent human, like, and also another one. So I was taking this on the podcast this morning too. And as an owner of multiple businesses, back down to business, because we are mumpreneurs, the right or the wrong decision right now will be amplified within your businesses. So I think that fear of retracting and, you know, and indecision, I think we need to, as entrepreneurs, we need to seriously look at our businesses and our families as well, and just know that the right decisions made right now will be amplified in this current environment, and just trust that it will all work out the way it needs to, because everything happens in divine order for the highest possible purpose. I truly believe that. So your resilience, gratitude, mindfulness and kindness or empathy, they're key. We need to really dig deep and find our own true inner resilience. People are generally resilient, they just don't know it. And stay around those people that uplift you, because that is really important. We've got so much doom and gloom. Our communities, our online communities, this is the perfect forum. So tuck in with, you know, Mumpreneurs Movement Magazine, Jared on Mind Fitness, that's where you can download that resilience toolkit. I think you probably pop a link in below. You know, any of your online tribe that you follow, honestly, because we are going to be isolated geographically for a while. It's just what's going to happen, but we need to stay connected, because that in there creates resilience.
Thanks so much, Sal. And I really appreciate everyone who's watching at the moment. We've got some amazing women who are, and they're loving what we're sharing, but especially you, Sal, like, because you just live and breathe like this whole philosophy of being resilient. But again, it's not in this way of being more powerful than anyone else, or it's about, again, everything that I love is it's a collaboration, it's community, it's connection. And don't forget that in your fear, because self-isolation, even like Sal said, geographically, but if you do it mentally and spiritually as well, you're going to navigate this space in a not so, it's not going to be as flowing as what it could be if you, again, connect into your community, connect into your spiritual practices, because again, we're all in our mindset when we're in fear, in our mind. We're all in our mind when we're in fear. But if we take time to ground out, like people ask me, what are you doing? Like to navigate this space, I'm like, go outside and stick my feet on the ground. You know what I mean? Yeah. Be in nature, be with animals, be with my loved ones, but keep being rather than just being in here, because this overthinks everything and it projects. And when you're in fear, you're in the future and you can't control the future. So it's coming back down to the present, asking yourself, how is everything right now? And seriously, my world right now is fantastic because I'm at home. I've got sun shining. I've got grass growing. I've got my animals fed. My kids are at school. My husband's at work. So my life is great right now. So I'm not projecting into what's coming. I'm in my world right now. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. And I'm going to keep doing everything I can to keep it that way. And I'm going to also take preventative steps that I need to feel comfortable and safe with inside myself, but not at anyone else's detriment. And I think resilience also too is bringing you out of control into flow. And I had another thing I want to share with resilience, but resilience keeps you out of the fear space, I think too, if you can really practice that mindset. So Sal, before we finish up, is there anything else that you'd like to share with these beautiful women who are watching this to go home, or if they're at home, what they could do immediately to start implementing and finding out their strengths and building more resilience immediately?
So, well, yeah, I do. One thing, just know you're not alone. Everybody is walking this path together. And if you're supported by wonderful people like Tammie, then, just know that everybody is in this same boat together. And whatever it is for you that, those daily practices, healthy habits and community to build resilience, I would just start now. Most people probably already are doing some of these things, but just if you need to tweak a few things, honestly, like those people with a strong, flexible mind, they're the people that will be able to stay in stability when shit gets real, and it's already getting real. So just know you're not alone, and that ground, center and still yourself, build your own inner resilience, be a good leader, be a good mum, be a good wife and business partner, and take time out for yourself in there as well. Like you honestly do. There's so much pressure going on the outside. Just be the best you that you can be, and everybody knows what that is.
Well, thank you so much, Sal, and thank you to everyone who's watched this. And I would love for you to connect with Salli, and we'll drop a couple of her links, because she's got a free resource too that you can go through and download, which she's just talked about. If you haven't heard it, go back and watch it from the start once it's been uploaded. But really, these are the tools that can help you through this time. And again, reach out. Ask questions in this group, connect. What do you need help with right now? We have over nearly 600 women in here. And if you think you need something, ask for it, because do you not think that 600 women who are mums are not going to jump on board and try and give you some sort of support in some way? That's what I love about mums. Like we just want to give and support and love each other. So this is what it's about. So thank you so much, everyone, for jumping on board and watching us. And thank you, Salli Galvin, for being the most amazing, incredible human being that I love and adore, and for joining us and sharing your wise wisdom today.
My absolute pleasure, Tam. Loads of love to you.
Talk to you all soon, beautiful people. Sending you so much love. Bye.
Ciao, ciao. Hey, Tam.
Hi, how you doing?
Hey, babe. Good. Have I closed it off on my end?
I think it should be, I said leave meeting, so Hang on, let me just see. I think no. Don't know how to stop it.